Good afternoon to all of you. In the last lecture, I discussed regarding the concepts of hardware platforms and the factors influencing its design. Okay. In this topic, I will discuss the different types of memory. I'm going to differentiate between various types of memory, but I will not able to discuss all the memories. I will just inform you which types of memory all are using in the IoT systems, or you can say embedded systems. Okay, so you have to know overall about the memory. So now we will discuss the memory hierarchy. So first you have to understand what is memory hierarchy. Actually, a memory system is organized as a hierarchy of storage units. So there are several storage devices are available. In that several storage devices, we can put some across with this type of like size, cost, speed. According to that, we have arranged that. So this is memory system is organized with increasing capacities, costs, and access time. So access time means the controllers will take the data or controller will able to store the data. The time taken by this controller is called access time. कोई भी डेटा अगर मेमोरी से प्रोसेसर तक पहुंचता है, that is called access time. Okay, so this is showing that this is the increasing order of this. It means that this is a registers, so registers will take the very less access time. Okay, and also when we are talking about tertiary memory, it will take more access time. So now the frequently used data resides in the CPU registers. So first in the top layer in this memory hierarchy is called registers. Then after caches, main memory, secondary memory, tertiary memory. So now first we will discuss the registers. So when you are going to discuss the registers, the whatever data is used by the microcontrollers, this data will store in a CPU registers. Then after it's very small. So the size is very small of the registers. Now the fast cache memory near the CPU has nearly 5 nanosecond access time and they store a few bytes of data from the main memory. Now you have to understand this is the cache. So from the cache to the controllers, it will take 5 nanosecond access time. So within 5 nanoseconds, it will reach the data will be reached from caches to the controllers. Okay, and then the main memory has a gigabytes of space with RAM access. Okay, so the size is also increasing. So in the previous, the left hand side is written large size, large cost, lower speed. If you are increasing the size of the memory, you can get more cost. Sorry, low cost. Okay, so larger the size, lower the cost, and also lower the speed also. So the secondary memory and tertiary memory, these two memories consist of a hard disk, floppy disk, tapes, and high capacity sequential storage devices. So all the storage devices which are available, you are going to use that. These all are coming with under this secondary memory and tertiary memory. Okay, so in the memory hierarchy, the first is used registers. It is usually one CPU cycle to access. It is required only one cycles. Now cache memory, CPU caches, TLB, page caches, static RAM. Okay, in cache memory, there are several things are there. This is called CPU cache. So the cache means you are going to use the data or you are going to use the frequent data. Okay. So TLB represents the translation look aside buffer. This is TLB is also a buffer where you can store the data. So it is a memory cache that is used to reduce the time taken to access a user memory location. So this will take less time when you are comparing with the secondary memory. So this is the main memory. So main memory is a dynamic, volatile. Okay. And then if you are talking about the dynamic RAM, dynamic RAMs means when you are switching off the devices, the data will be destroyed. Okay, that's called volatile. Secondary memory is called hard disk, and then tertiary memory is called tape library. So there are several things are there like tape libraries, memory card. Okay, all the things come under the tertiary memory. Now we will talk about the memory hierarchies. So memory hierarchy provides average memory access time almost at the cache memory access time due to temporal or specific locality. So first you have to understand what is the temporal locality and spatial locality. So temporal locality means the same piece of data in memory is used in the next few instructions. Sometimes it will happen, same data will be repeated. Okay, then you can tell that this is a temporal locality. What is the meaning of spatial locality? Spatial locality means that the data in the memory that is close to the current piece data is often used. One is data used frequently. Another is data used one time, two times, three times. We never know that. Okay. So within the temporal locality, you can say that the data which is in memory that is used for next few instructions. And if sometimes it will be used, you can say that this data is in spatial locality. So now it is required the piece of data is found in a cache. It is a called cache hit. Okay. Whenever we are talking about the cache memory, the cache will store the data like cache hit and cache miss. That is called. Okay. So it is if a required piece of data is found in a cache, it is called cache hit. If there is a cache miss, it means that a block of words are brought from main memory to the cache and then sent to CPU. So the first thing is if it is cache hit, it means that the data is available in the cache memory. But if it is cache miss, it means that whatever data is searching, that data is not available in the cache memory. If it is not available, then you have to take this data from main memory and you have to send to the CPU. And the next CPU request would normally be the to block in the cache. जब हम क्या करेंगे मेन मेमोरी से सीपीयू को डेटा प्रोवाइड कर देंगे then that data should be in C cache. If the data request is not found in main memory, then page from secondary memory is brought into the main memory and a block from this page is sent to the cache. Then the required word is sent to the CPU. What will happen? It is a searching process. Let us microcontroller needs some data, correct? Then this data will be searched into register first, then cache memory, then memory, then secondary memory, then tertiary memory. So if data is not available in cache memory, this is called process cache miss. It means that whatever the data is searching, that data is not available in cache memory. So it will go for the main memory. It will search from the main memory. If in the main memory also the data is not available, then it had to search the secondary memory and then it had search the tertiary memory. This will happen like that. Okay. So in when we are talking about the in case of CPU, so registers are very near the CPU since CPU register is just part of the CPU. Any processor is there, any microcontroller is there, everyone has a registers, some registers. and that registers will be used to store the data. So registers are very near to the CPU and are connected by the internal bus of the CPU. This means access time for registers are usually only one clock CPU cycle. Now you can see in this hierarchy, here is CPU. Okay, and from this CPU, all things is connected. Now registers, which is very nearest. Then after that cache, it is near by CPU, but far from registers. Then also main memory, then also secondary memory, then tertiary memory. So this is distance which is covered by the different types of buses. Okay. So क्या होगा? सबसे नजदीक रजिस्टर्स है, उसके बाद क्या हुआ कैचे है, उसके बाद मेन मेमोरी है, उसके बाद सेकेंडरी मेमोरी है, उसके बाद टिश्यू मेमोरी है. इसका मीनिंग क्या है? इट मींस दैट जो जितना दूर रहेगा द एक्सेस टाइम विल टेक मोर. सिंपल सी बात है, द डेटा विल बी ट्रेवल्ड मोर, so time required is more. Okay, so the cache memory can be both inside the CPU chip or outside the CPU chip. It depends upon you. Cache memory kaun si cache you will going to use, that either internal cache or you can say external cache. They need a cache controller or called as translation book aside buffer. See that in the cache memory, one TLB generator. Okay, this is called translation look aside buffer. So cache controller will be there. Translation look aside buffer will be there. Cache pages concepts will be there. So these things are required by the cache memory. And also the main memory can be static RAM or dynamic RAM, which requires the frequent refresh to store the data. It will depend upon it. Okay, which type of main memory you are going to select it. Now secondary memory, if you are talking about secondary memory, then secondary memory is slow and cost less per bit. So when we are talking about the speed, this is a less speed and this is having high speed. Because when we are talking about the cost, so this is the lower cost and this is the higher cost. Okay, so these the things will be there. Now next we are talking about that. See that cost. When we are talking about cost and speed, now you can see when we are talking about the CPU, nearby CPU cache will be there. So first the CPU will access the data from cache. If you are not going to search the data available in cache memory, then it will go for the main memory. Again, it is if the data is not available in memory, then it will go to the secondary memory. So the secondary memory is hard disk drive, flash drive, whatever memory card is there, all the things will be there. Okay. So the CPU cache hierarchy. The CPU makes use of a small, fast, and very expensive registers. So all of you know that the CPU is using registers. It means that if it is needed to store some data, then these registers will be used. And the main memory is cheaper and greater capacity, but takes much longer time to access. So main memory is cheaper, but access time is more. Okay. So it depends upon the applications. If you need fast, then you can use the cache memory or main memory, whatever you need. Depending on the applications, you can do it. Now the CPU cache is used to exploit locality, keeping copies of data likely to be used again and faster access memory to reduce the average time taken by them. Whenever you are reaching once, you are reading once data, can read data once, then this data will be stored in the cache memory. And if you are going to use the frequent using that type of data, then you can take from the cache. No need to go to the main memory always. Like in the website, you can see whenever in the Google Chrome address bar, you can write google.com. Correct? Whenever you type in G, whatever the SSL site which is already you opened, it will show in below bar. Okay, that is the benefit of cache memory. So if you want to use that from add web address from that web address, then you can click on that, it will open. So the time will be very less. And also the cache sits in the between the fast static CPU registers and the slow memory. So between this CPU and main memory, this will work as a mediator. So let us consider if you want to copy the data from the main memory, it will take more time. Even if you want to copy the data from the CPU to cache memory, correct? So what you will do, once when you are taking the data from main memory, you can store in this cache so that you can use frequently this data and the time access time will be less. So okay, that's why you can see that in a diagram, CPU registers, cache memory, main memory, and the finally secondary memory is available. So when you're talking about the cost per bit of storage comes down as we move from cache to secondary memory. So the cost is decreases. Okay. And also when we are talking about the size of the memory from cache to secondary memory is increasing and the speed of access from cache to secondary memory also increases. So memory designs with multiple types of memory like cache is to bring down the overall memory system cost and provide high speed memory access. So whenever you are going to buy a cache memory, you can see the cost is more. Remember that. Otherwise, you can go to the shop and you can try. So if we are talking about some virtual memory. So when we are discussing with the virtual memory, to exploit locality, use the main memory as a cache. So when we are talking about the virtual memory acts as an illusion to the user and makes it appear that main memory is very large. Now what will happen? If the main memory is very large, then if you want to search the data from the large memory, it will take more time. For that purpose, we are going to cut it down and we are fixing this value as a part of virtual memory so that you can search the data. In this, it is very easy. And also the virtual address that is called a logical address from the CPU or programs. When you are going to create the virtual memory, you have to mention the address of the location. The data in the main memory is a subset of the data from secondary memory. And also when the data is requested through the virtual address is not found in main memory, the right page of frame is loaded from secondary memory. And if the main memory is full, one of the frames is swapped out and incoming frame is loaded. What will happen when we will talk about the memory, in the case of memory, okay, if CPU wants some data and you are going to search it in the main memory, if it is not available, then you have to go into the secondary memory. Okay, so if you are talking about secondary memory, so whenever you feel somewhere else, when you are going to store the data in mobile phones, and if it is the size is not available, what you will do? He will show you the size enough memory is not available. Okay, so if the enough memory is not available, what is the meaning? You can store this data external. So that's why it is written, provided that the page being currently executed in the memory, it is possible to push the reset of secondary memory and get them back when needed. So from secondary memory, you can take the data. And also physical address space now includes both physical memory and secondary memory. Okay. So you can see before that in the left side, different page will be there. For different pages, this is the address defined by the page table. Okay, or you can take vector table. Now this is the memory, and this memory is divided into some frames. Okay, either main memory or secondary memory. So in this main memory or secondary memory, whatever data is available, that data will be swapped between these two locations. Either you can swap from the main memory to secondary memory or secondary memory to main memory. These things will be happen. And also OS now has to handle all translations and other related overhead. Now this all responsibility will be handled by the operating systems. Okay, so the operating system handle different types of translations using memory management unit from logic address to physical address, and also the overhead if needed for swapping in and out. So if you are want to swapping the data, it means that you can going to exchanging the data from one place to another place. Okay, so these things will be available. So with these 2-3 slides, you can see that you can understand the registers is very important for the controller and processor. Then cache memory is also important. Main memory, secondary memory, and tertiary memory. So different types of memory will be there. Okay. So now if you're talking different types of memory, so I have talked whatever memory which is used currently in the embedded systems, or you can see IoT systems. Okay. But I will give you some overview of the general categorizations. I am not going to discuss all the things. All of you are aware about that. So that's why I just give you the classification types of memory, RAM and ROM. If you are going to design any systems, then there are two types of memory will be required. That is called RAM and ROM. That's why it's not like that. You can go and with the help of only RAMs, you can make the data, make the design system, and with the help of ROM, you can make the systems. These things will not happen. Okay. So now for any systems, RAM and ROM will be required. So RAM means random access memory, ROM means read-only memory. So read-only memory, but nowadays, whatever ROMs are available, you can read the data, even you can erase the data. Okay. When we are talking about the RAM, there are two types, SRAM and DRAM, static RAM and dynamic RAM. Okay. So static RAM is based on the transistors and dynamic RAM is based upon the capacitors. If you are dividing RAM in different types, PROM, EPROM, and EEPROM. Okay. So PROM means programmable read-only memory. EPROM, electrical programmable read-only memory. EEPROM, electrical erasable program read-only memory. So this is the different types of memory. So now whatever ROMs are coming, that in that ROM you can able to erase the data or you can able to store the data within a second. But in the previous stage, in the previously what will happen? Previously, you can see ROM data you can't able to erase it. That's why the name is called read-only memory. You can only read. Like everyone, you can see the floppy disk. Floppy disk. From the floppy disk, you can't able to erase the data. If it is full, it means it's full. Okay, so these things will happen, and also some modification will be occur PROM, EEPROM. Now, whatever the EEPROM is there, you can erase the data in within microseconds, and you can write the data, you can store the data in within microseconds. This is all about the memory aspects, which I discussed in the IoT system point of view. Rest of all, if you have any query, if you have any doubt, you can ask. Thank you.